Hello, we are discussing today something about the retaining wall. What is retaining wall? The wall which retains earth, water, etc. is known as retaining wall. The retaining wall can be categorically differentiated into two parts. One is a cantilever type of retaining wall and another counterfort type of retaining wall. Cantilever type of retaining wall is only used when the total height of the retaining wall is limited to 6 meters, and counterfort type of retaining wall is only used when the height exceeds 6 meters. What are the components by which the retaining wall is constructed? Then we have to see then how many components are there. One is the vertical component and another is a horizontal component. That is called a vertical wall, also known as a stem, which is rectangular in size or trapezoidal in size depending upon the height and the type of soil that is to be retained. Now base is again a rectangular one and it is bifurcated into two parts. One we call as the toe and another we call as the heel. The soil is resting over the heel and toe and this side will be a clearly an opening side. The total height of the wall right from the top of the vertical wall to the bottom of this base is known as capital H, denoted by capital H. The retaining wall can be constructed either by stone or by bricks or of RCC. Now we have to analyze this retaining wall. The analysis can be applied for applying by various checks. First check is check for shear sliding. Second B we can call as check for overturning. Third, check for eccentricity. Fourth, check for maximum pressure. And last, that is E, check for minimum pressure. If the retaining wall clears all the checks, we can say yes, retaining wall is safe and it can be executed at site. Now we are considering following parameters before application of the checks. Number 1, height of the wall is 5.0 meter, that is it is not exceeding 6 meters, so we are considering only the cantilever type of retaining wall. Unit of weight of material is taken as of RCC, that is taken as 25 kilonewton per meter cube. Unit weight of soil is taken as 16 kilonewton per meter cube. Angle of repose of soil, which is denoted by phi, is taken as 30 degrees. Angle of friction between the soil and the concrete wall, which is denoted by mu, is taken as 0.7. Active pressure component is taken as 1 minus sine of phi upon 1 plus sine of phi, and the passive active pressure is taken as 1 plus sine of phi upon 1 minus sine of phi. Maximum bearing capacity of the soil is taken as 200 kilonewton per meter square, over which the wall is resting, of course. Base width, that is base width comprising of toe plus heel, is taken as 3.5 meter. Thickness of the vertical wall is taken as 0.5. Thickness of the base is taken as 0.5 and width of the toe is taken as 1 meter, while the width of the heel is taken as 2 meters. Now we start analyzing the wall. Now you can see the same parameters which have been mentioned in my previous page, has been drawn over here, showing the wall thickness as 0.5, height as 4.5, then the base width is 3.5, base thickness as 0.5, and the total height is say 5 meter. So the height of earth above the hill is 4.5 meters. Now we have to see the effect of all the earth acting on this retaining wall, and this can be seen by taking the moment at the corner of the toe, which is mentioned by capital A encircling over here. So now this whole structure is analyzed in three sections. Section 1 comprising of the base, that is toe and heel. Second, the vertical wall that we call the stem. And third, the earth, that is soil over the heel. Now just the first of all I am considering one section. Just concentrate over here table, then we can see the first column indicates 1, 2, 3 indicates the number of sections. Second column indicates for base slab, vertical wall and the soil over the heel. Now weight of section in kilonewton. First of all, when I am talking about the base slab, the width of the base slab is 3.5, thickness is 0.5. We are designing or we are analyzing for 1 meter width, so multiplied by 1, and the density of the concrete as we have already taken as 25, and the whole weight of this base slab comes out to be 43.70 kilonewton. Now I have to take the moment, so we have to take the distance of the center of gravity of this base slab from the corner of the toe, that is capital A. So it is 3.5 divided by 2, it is 1.75 meter. And the moment of this wall, the moment of this base slab along A will be the multiplication of the total weight multiplied by CG, and it is nothing but 43.75 into 1.75, that comes out to be 76.56 kilonewton meter. Let us go for the second section, and that is the vertical wall. The total weight of the vertical wall is the height of the vertical wall, that is 4.5, thickness of the vertical wall, that is stem, that is 0.5, 1 meter the length of the wall, and 25 kilonewton per meter cube is the density of the concrete wall, and multiplied by all the three parameters, that comes out to be 43.75 kilonewton. It comes out to be 56.25 kilonewton. That is 4.5 into 0.5 into 1 into 25, it comes out to 56.25 kilonewton. The CG of the vertical wall, that is from the center of this stem or vertical wall to the corner of the toe, that is A, is 0.5 by 2 plus 1. That is 1 plus 0.5 by 2, it comes out to be 1.25. And the moment of this vertical wall about A is nothing but the total load, that is total weight of 56.25 into distance of its CG from A is 1.25, and the total bending moment about A is 70.312 kilonewton meter. Now we will go for third section, and third section comprising of the soil over the hill. The total width of the soil is 2 meter, which is nothing but the width of the hill. The total earth over the hill up to the top of the wall is 4.5 and multiplied by the length of the earth and the density of the earth or soil. So it is 2 into 4.5 is the height multiplied by the density of the soil multiplied by the 1 meter length of the earth. So that comes out to be 144 kilonewton. The center of gravity of this soil over the hill can be very easily calculated as 2 by 2 plus 0.5 plus 1.0. That is the width of the width of the toe, width of the stem or vertical wall plus half the width of the heel, and it is nothing but it is just equal to 2.5 meter. The moment of this earth about A is nothing but the multiplication of 144 with 2.5 and it comes out to be 360 kilonewton meter. If we add the column number 3 and we can find out the total load acting downward, it comes out to be 244 kilonewton. That is summation of earth, stem and base. Similarly, moment of all the three components when added together, the total moment comes out to be 506.872 kilonewton meter. This force sigma W is also known as the stabilizing force and this moment is also known as stabilizing moment. Now we have to calculate the horizontal force applied by a earth. Now you can see, just go on to the figure shown over here. We show that at the base the total force acting will be nothing but W into H, and W of a earth is given as 16. 16 into 5 will be the total earth pressure at the base that you can see from here. That is, height is 5 meter, base will be 16 into 5, that is 80. Now the total force is nothing but area of this triangle is equal to half, base is 80, multiplied by height is 5, multiplied by the horizontal component of an active pressure which is taken as 1 minus sine of phi upon 1 plus sine of phi. Considering phi at 30 degree, so it comes out to be 1 minus sine of phi upon 1 plus sine of phi comes out to be 1 by 3. So half into 80 into 5, it comes out to be 26.67 kilonewton, which is acting at the center of gravity, that is y bar, from the base of this triangle, and which is nothing but 1/3 of 5, and that is comes out to be 1.67 meter. After finding out this center of gravity, and then we have to find out after finding out the total force, the turning force and the overturning force. Now we'll come across finding out the overturning or a sliding force. Is nothing but the total force 66.67 that we have already seen. Similarly, overturning moment is nothing but the overturning force multiplied by the center of gravity, that is y bar, that is 1.67 from the base. This will try to overturn the wall, and hence we are supposed to find out this overturning force, that is 66.67 into 5 by 3 will give 110.6 kilonewton meter. This is the moment which is overturning the wall. Now again picking up the previous results over here for convenience of calculations, stabilizing force 244 kilonewton, stabilizing moment 506 kilonewton meter, overturning force 66.67 kilonewton, and overturning moment is 110.6 kilonewton meter. Now we have already discussed we have to apply all the 5 checks. So we start the first check, that is mentioned A over there, that is check for sliding. As already mentioned in a code, coefficient of friction times stabilizing force upon the sliding force must be greater than 1.5. Then we can say yes, it won't slide, it will remain stable. Substituting the value of coefficient of friction as 0.7, stabilizing force as 244 divided by 66.67, that is we have already calculated from here. So it comes out to 2.56, which is greater than 1.5. So we can say it won't slide, it is safe. So our analysis is okay. Now we go for the second check, that is check for overturning. Now we have got two parameters. One is the stabilizing moment and another the overturning moment. The code also gives the ratio between the two and says that over stabilizing moment over the overturning moment, that is the ratio of the stabilizing moment to overturning moment, should be always greater than 1.5. Then we can say yes, our design is okay, our calculation is okay, our checks are okay. Now we know that the stabilizing moment is 506 kilonewton meter and overturning moment, at we have already seen over here, it comes to 110 kilonewton meter. The ratio of the two comes out to 4.57, which is greater than 1.5. So we can say it won't overturn. So our design analysis for this returning for the second analysis check is safe. Now we will go for third, that is check for eccentricity. Eccentricity can be calculated by using the formula sigma m upon sigma w minus b by 2. And the code says under any circumstances this eccentricity should always be less than 1/6 of the width of a base. Then we can say yes, our design is okay. Now just to calculate the eccentricity, now we know sigma m upon sigma w minus b by 2. Sigma m is 506, that we have already seen over here. Sigma w is nothing but 244, and width of this base at 3.5, that is 3.5 by 2, it comes out to be 0.32. Substituting the value over here, which is less than b by 6. B is nothing but the width of the base, 6.58. So 0.32 is less than 0.58. So we can say our third check is also okay. Now we will go for the fourth check, and this fourth check is based on the pressure. That is the maximum check for the maximum pressure. As per the code, the maximum pressure should not be greater than the bearing capacity of the soil, which is given in kilonewton per meter square. In our case, we have taken the bearing capacity of the soil as 200 kilonewton per meter square, and that's why the code says that the maximum pressure should less than the bearing capacity of soil. How to calculate the maximum pressure? The P maximum can be calculated sigma W upon B into bracket 1 plus 6 E upon B, where sigma W is nothing but it is 244 and B is nothing but 6 Oh, I think it is something we have to see. Then 1 plus 6E upon B. Here I have committed slight mistake. It should be multiplied with something. I have to see whether I am right or wrong. But at this stage, consider it is 103.6 kilonewton per meter square, which is less than 200 kilonewton per meter square. Yes. Now check for minimum pressure. Minimum pressure is also greater than 0. If it is greater than that, it comes out to be minus, means there will be a tension at the bottom and structure will fail. Or we have to design accordingly. So the P minimum can be calculated W by D B into 1 minus 6 E upon B, substituting the value of W as 244, B as 3.5, 1 minus 6.6 into 0.32 into 3.5, it comes out to be 38.55 kilonewton per meter square, which is greater than 0, so we can say our design is safe. Here I have to make some correction over here, that is this not B, it is B will be nothing but is equal to taken as 3.5. Here also this B is taken as equal to 3.5 instead of 4, and then we have to calculate the value. It is slightly greater than this much, it comes out with 188 point something kilonewton per meter square, so we can say it is our design is safe. Now, before ending our this lecture, let us have some idea about what is the counterfort type of retaining wall. We have already seen in the beginning that when the height of the retaining wall increases 6 meter, at that stage all the cross section increases, the thickness increases, thereby the total quantity also increases. Hence, under such circumstances, it is not economical, and just to achieve an economy, what we are doing, we are providing an additional wall. We call as a counterfort over here. These beams are provided at some equal intervals, and when these act also as a bracing so far, at that stage, thus only the load will be transferred up to these distances, and so on and so forth. So all calculations are reduced, and thereby economy can be achieved. So that means although the height is more, still we can find that counterfort retaining wall is more economical. Although the height is, again I will repeat, when the height is more, by giving a counterfort retaining wall, the thickness of vertical wall, that is stem, and the thickness of the base also will be less, and hence we can say this is more economical. Thank you very much.